Hello everyone. Today I will talk about my mini project planning for COVID-19 waste management strategies for use face mask during COVID-19 in HRM. Many people thought that the year 2020 will be the super year for the nature. Although so many places and cities and countries experienced less air pollution, and for example, in India, people could see the Himalaya mountain after 30 years from their residential view. But the reality is something else. The skyrocketing use of medical equipments during pandemic such as plastic gloves and disposable face masks cause so many people to sound the alarm of the environment. And it targets two options: the overflow of waste management systems and the discontinuation of recycling programs happened during outbreak. Unfortunately, plastic surface can keep the virus alive more than 72 hours. And while people are using disposable materials, actually they are boosting and increasing the virus. So plastic can damage environment and economy. What we had in tourism and fishery industries, we lost unfortunately $40 billion. According to statistics, in 1 month, people use 129 billion face masks, and um, in 1 year, the global sale of masks in 2019 was 800 million, but in 2020 it is 166. And all the scientists agreed about this option, this factor that the second wave of COVID-19 may come from the sewage. So increasing the healthcare materials can increase solid waste, and unfortunately, the medical waste can be the source of the virus. For example, in China, medical waste increased by 600%. And this matter and the harmful effect of solid waste uh, can affect on drainage systems, water bodies, and storm drains, and they can create contaminating more contaminated water. They can increase floods. I mean that solid waste can go to ocean and streams, and they will provide a microplastic issue. So, solid waste management targets exactly water contamination. So this is where we talk about disaster. We mean that water this is unfortunately what we saw in Italy, Spain, and France. That in France they could find a correlation with a high concentration of COVID virus and the high number of death. Or in Ecuador, at in river water, it was seen the virus. So the overflow of raw sewage can lead to exactly water waste. Dalhousie University study shows that unfortunately the virus can survive for more than 25 days. And here we can understand that when people inappropriate discard the medical equipment, it affect the recyclable waste streams, and that's why contaminated face mask can be mixed with domestic garbage. And uh, some items are in danger. First of all, workers' health. Second is drinking water, and third is segregation in treatment systems. That's why UNEP asked the international organization, all the societies to treat and to separate the hazardous waste especially medical equipment. This is hierarchy of waste management in HRM. And some cases studies, first of all, is China. China completely stopped recyclable programs. New Zealand didn't stop, but it has an exception. It says where practicable, they use a facility operator or service provider to assess the material, the solid waste, to know that if they are safe for recycling. And France add one step to the recycling program, pre-decontamination step, for deactivating the virus. And Canada, especially in Nova Scotia and HR and Halifax, not for COVID, not for COVID study, but for its very strong background that they did in 2000, in 1990s, and that's why they could affect a Western culture. They could receive a community sustainable community award, and they could gain in the short-term objectives. And the conclusion that we need to think about contaminated medical equipment, think we need to take action towards declining face mask, because the face mask is the number one in air pollution issue. And we need to think about animals, clean water, and France and Canada are the best practices that I use in this project. Halifax and Nova Scotia advise people to drop their face masks in regular garbage bins, and they have a very strong background. Halifax Parks department is responsible for collecting the public waste bins, and it emphasizes on 3 R's. This is the landfill of Otter Lake, and here we have the recommendation. My recommendation for this mini project is segregation contaminated disposable face mask. This is what somehow New Zealand is doing, but in a very weak, because it doesn't work from the source. And that's why we need to do what we did 30 years ago to segregate the waste, the solid waste, and we may add an amendment to the bylaws. That's we need people engagement and cooperation, and HR and provincial officials supports and actions. For example, we can add a bag. I called it a one plus one bag, or embed a separated bin for disposal, or through SMS, or for example key code. We can engage and announce public, and the predicted results will be we can have an environmental improvement, economical improvement. What exactly Dalhousie University did in 2013, and it didn't now at that time they didn't pay any private company to empty the dumpsters. So they changed their solid waste strategy. So in this mini project, it doesn't work only through the for COVID crisis, but also for COVID post COVID. We can It is really useful, because we have influenza viruses, we have other future pandemic. It Through this mini project, we can have a stronger solid waste project, solid waste background. Thank you for listening to me.